Hey everyone, Scar, the Scottman. We're here to do a drive video today. We are heading west on I-69 here in the Flint, Michigan area. We're going to be driving west from I-75 here in Flint all the way to I-96 east to the southwest of Lansing. So we have a long one today. So it is a cloudy day out today. Some peeps of sun here and there, but other than that, just mainly cloudy. And it's a pretty chilly day too. It's middle of the afternoon and my car thermometer is reading 45 degrees Fahrenheit. In Celsius it's around like between 7 and 8 degrees. So it is a chilly one today. So after filming all the stretches of I-90 or I-69 going north and east through Michigan, now it's time to go the other way. So I figure why not start over here at back at I-75 in Flint and head all the way to I-96 in the Lansing area. And yeah, right here we got the exit for Bristol Road, which if you get off here and then you make a left turn, you can head over to Flint Bishop Airport, which is the main airport here in Flint. Which I have never flown out of there before. I know it's a big hub if you fly like Allegiant Airlines, which is one of the budget airlines in the United States, along with like Spirit or Frontier, JetBlue, or even Southwest. Because I think Southwest is considered to be a budget airline. So yeah, it's been a while since I filmed a video on this freeway in Michigan. I've done some videos on I-69 down in Indiana recently, but again, now I'm going west/south for the first time. Excuse me. It's like I had a little hiccup there, just it's like because I had like a huge lunch about an hour and a half ago down in Livonia, so I had a little bit of a journey to get all the way up here because Livonia, of course, is back down in Metro Detroit. But yeah, today is cold and windy too. It is very windy. Like when I had to pump up the gas tank shortly before I filmed this video, and it was frigid out there. I was very thankful that the wind was at my back. And you get off here, this is Miller Road. This will take you into the city of Swartz Creek. Which all you do to get in the town is, yeah, just get off back at Miller Road, and then you make a right turn, and I'll take you right into the little downtown area. Alternatively, you can get off here at Morris Road, which is coming up about 3/4 of a mile from here. So right now, we're in the western portions of the Flint area. So a little bit more about this freeway here. This is kind of like the main freeway connection between Flint and Lansing. So because I don't live in Flint or Lansing, I'm not on I-69 very often, but I wanted to get out to film this video today. Because as I was saying, with how cold the weather is, it's definitely too chilly for me to do anything outside, other than covering like restaurants or something. Because it feels like November today, not mid-April. At least things are finally starting to bloom though, which I would say it's right around average this time. It's like we had a very warm winter, but it got pretty cold in late March. We even had some snow in late March, so it'd probably delay things a little bit, probably to get more closer to when things are supposed to bloom here in Michigan. I-69 is a very interesting freeway because originally it only went from Port Huron, Michigan, from the Blue Water Bridge, which goes across over to Canada, over to Sarnia, Ontario. Oh, that was another hiccup. Thankfully, they were only like two or 3 minutes apart, not like 2 or 3 seconds. Which, yeah, that's the thing. It's like when it comes to hiccups, I rarely get them. And when I do, it's like it's very, very quick and brief. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about, the I-69 originally went from Port Huron, like the Blue Water Bridge, all the way to the northeast part of Indianapolis, Indiana, over at the 465 loop. However, it's like, yeah, they're extending I-69 to go all the way down to Mexico. Although, it's going to be quite a while in terms of years before it'll go all the way down there. Because they're working on many different stretches of I-69 right now. It's like they just made a portion in southern Indiana, which goes from just south of Indianapolis all the way to Evansville. And right now they're building the new interchange with 465 to the south side of Indianapolis. And then most of the stretch in Kentucky's done, although the bridge going across the Ohio River near Evansville, Indiana, they still got to work on that though. And then there's a lot they got to work on in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana. There's a small stretch of I-69 in Mississippi, but not much. And there's a lot of work they got to do in Texas. And I-69 right now runs concurrent with US Highway 59 down in like the greater Houston area, like from like Cleveland, Texas, going through Houston all the way to like area southwest of the Houston area, going as you get down toward like Rosenberg and Beasley and Kendleton, Texas. And then once you get down like to Victoria, Texas, more about that in a second. So we're entering Shiawassee County now, just got out of Genesee County. This exit here is for Sheridan Road, but this is the beginning of M13. M13 goes north all the way up towards Saginaw and then to Bay City. And then it continues further north up towards Standish. So it's a nice little alternative to I-75. Anyway, so I was talking about, yeah, I-69 is going to eventually branch off into 3 separate freeways once you get down toward like Victoria, Texas. Because eventually there's going to be like, it's going to branch off into 3 separate freeways. You're going to have like I-69 West, which will eventually go all the way down to Laredo, Texas, to go across into Mexico into Nuevo Laredo, which is the Mexican side of the border. Then you'll have I-69C, which is the Central Fork, which I don't think that's supposed to go all the way into Mexico, but pretty close. It goes down to some of the cities near the border. I think it goes down to like McAllen, Texas. And then I-69 East, I think is going to be following along the current US Highway 77, going south of Victoria. And it goes all the way down to Brownsville, Texas, near kind of like where South Padre Island is located. And then it crosses over the border into Matamoros, Mexico. So it'll be interesting to see when that is eventually complete. It's 2024 now. I don't think the entire stretch of I-69 will be fully complete until I think at least sometime in the 2030s. stretch of the freeway is completed, it would make driving between Michigan and Texas very easy, because you just, once you get on I-69, you don't have to get off of it. Because heck, in the past few years, I've driven down to Houston, Texas twice, including just a few months ago. Stretch of I-69 today, I am very thankful that they're not doing any road work on this. So this should be a very smooth drive. Knock on wood. So coming up next, this exit here, this is M71, which M71 heads northwest up toward Corona, Michigan, which is the county seat of Shiawassee County, and then you keep going, you head over to Owasso, Michigan. But if you go the opposite direction, it's not M71 anymore. As you go southeast of here, that'll take you into Durand. And I should probably have a drink of water. I haven't had any in a little bit. That's better. But yeah, I've been on all the different freeways all throughout the state of Michigan. I've probably been on just about all of them, I would say. Although there's stretches of the 131 freeway I haven't done yet. And that is another, I also need to film more of 131. So like the tricky part about that one is that it's all on the other side of the state. And I filmed some stretches already, especially the portion between Kalamazoo and areas just north of Grand Rapids, which of course is the easiest stretch for me to film because I just take I-94 or I-96 due west to like Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids. Although it would be cool at some point to film the southernmost stretch that comes up from the Indiana Toll Road in Indiana and go all the way up to Kalamazoo. They might be doing some road work though in Three Rivers, Michigan. But yeah, what's cool though is that every freeway, especially the big interstates in Michigan, they're all unique, I would say. Because what's cool about I-69, like what we're on right now, is that, again, this is a major freeway for people coming, especially trucks coming from Canada, as they start heading, let's say, toward other parts of Michigan, or more importantly, like down to like Indiana, or even heading over towards Chicago. Because with I-69, if you're coming across from Canada and you're going to Chicago, this is I would say your preferred route, because let's just say you can either take I-69 or I-94 to get across the state, but it's highly advised that unless there's like significant road work, that you should take I-69, because you completely avoid Detroit with all the traffic that you can encounter down there. With I-69, you're mainly just going through Flint and Lansing, and they're nowhere near as busy as Detroit. So yeah, you'll see truck traffic, of course, on this freeway, although maybe it's because it's Saturday, but it's not too bad though on this. And then so I-69 is one of the four major interstates in the state of Michigan, with the other three being I-94, I-96, and I-75. So I-94 is kind of like I-69, to where it's the main connector between Canada, or even like the there is a lot of traffic, like truck traffic, and it's mostly 2 lanes, so it could be, I don't want to say the word slow go. There could be times where it could feel a little sluggish because it could be stuck behind a slow moving truck. So it's like, because that I-94 through the state of Michigan has not really been one of my favorite freeways, just because of the heavy traffic that's usually on that freeway, because it's the main freeway going from Detroit to Chicago and vice versa. And it's mostly 2 lanes, with the exception of the stretch of I-94 going southwest from I-196 over near like St. Joe, like St. Joseph or St. Joe's, and then also going down toward New Buffalo, and of course if I can talk, everything through the Metro Detroit area. And I think there's even a small stretch of Kalamazoo where there's an extra lane. And I-96 is unique because it's the only major interstate. What I mean by major interstate, it's like the interstates. With the interstate system, you got double-digit interstates, or in some cases single-digit interstates. Those are your main interstates that go across the state or through multiple states. And then your triple-digit interstates are your auxiliary routes, whether they're spurs or loops. Here's the Looking Glass River here. So I-96, what's cool is that it's considered, it's an interstate, but it's also considered to be an intrastate. Why people will call it that is because an intrastate basically is a freeway which does not leave a particular state. Because I-96, it begins in Detroit, near where the Ambassador Bridge is, which goes over to Canada to Windsor, and it goes all the way toward Muskegon, Michigan, where Highway 31 is. So, as you can see, it never leaves the state of Michigan. And because of that, the freeway could get pretty busy in the Metro Detroit area, but it's definitely not as bad as I-94. And what's unique about I-96, too, is that it's the main freeway going from Detroit to Grand Rapids, which Detroit, of course, is the largest city in Michigan. Grand Rapids is the second largest city in Michigan, and the largest city in the western part of the state. And except during times of road work, usually that freeway is not all that bad, at least any time I've been on it. And of course, there's also the freeway too, like if you're going out to Lansing as well too, going from Detroit to Lansing, which is of course the state capital of Michigan, or go to East Lansing if you're going to Michigan State University. Especially if you want to go see a Michigan State Spartans football game. And then what I would say is the biggest freeway in the state of Michigan would be I-75, which is the main north and south freeway through the state of Michigan, which it comes up from Ohio. It starts all the way down in the Hialeah, Hialeah, Florida area, which is either Hialeah or Hollywood, Florida. It's part of the Miami metropolitan area, and it comes all the way up from there into Michigan. So it comes up from Ohio, of course, and then it goes through the state of Michigan. I'll talk more about I-75 in a minute, because in about another mile from here, we're going to be approaching the exit for M52. Which M52 is a larger state highway that comes up all the way from the northwest part of Ohio. So it goes all the way down to like Stockbridge, Chelsea, Manchester, Detroit area, and then it goes up to Flint, and then Saginaw, and then Bay City. And then it continues north up to the northern part of Michigan, which is a huge recreation area of the state of Michigan. Because there are then some smaller states like Traverse City, Alpena, or then you go across in the Upper Peninsula to like Sault Ste. Marie, Escanaba, Marquette. That's where a lot of people will go for either like summer homes or to spend like a weekend or even like a week-long trip going camping, staying in a cabin, or they have like, again, like a summer home or a summer cottage up in the northern part of the state. So it's basically, it's like your gateway to up north Michigan, or like what Michiganders call up north. Basically anything north of US Highway 10. I-75 is probably my favorite of the four major freeways, just because I really enjoy the stretch of I-75 going through the northern part of the state. It's very, very hilly, it's very wooded, it's a very scenic drive. And heck, even driving through Metro Detroit is pretty nice now because, well, except during rush hour. During rush hour, it's like, yeah, it's not that exciting, but especially in like southern Oakland County, they've done a huge reconstruction project over the course of several years, and it's like fantastic now. Nice smooth concrete. There's even an HOV lane now to where, unless it's rush hour or something, you can even drive on it during off-peak hours. It gives yourself an extra lane, so it's a lot better now than it used to be. Well, here's a little peep of sunshine, but as I was saying at the beginning of this video, it's going to be mainly cloudy, but the sun might try to pop out here and there. Although I'm kind of glad it's mainly cloudy anyway, because I don't have to worry about glare from the sun when doing this video. And then of course you have all your smaller interstates, the ones that are like the triple digit interstates, thinking like I-275, 475, 675, 196, 294, 375, and 496, and then 696. Interstates, you can easily get around, especially the southern part of the state, but once you get north of US Highway 10, it's like freeways are harder to come by because you just have mainly I-75, although the 127 freeway goes up to Grayling, but then it meets up with I-75, and then 131, the freeway goes up to Manton, Michigan, north of Cadillac, and then it just becomes a two-lane highway all the way up to Petoskey. That's a lot better. So we're definitely more than halfway through the video, I would say. Because we've come a long way. We're starting to get closer to the Lansing area now. Like, we'll probably start to see exits for it in the next few miles. Busy day for me today. Like, before doing this video, I had lunch down in Livonia, Michigan, where I went to a really nice Mexican restaurant called Las Palapas, which is like at the corner of Plymouth Road and Farmington Road. They have these these gigantic burritos, or two gigantic burritos. One's called the Monster Burrito, one's called the Burrito Grande. That thing is huge. It's like as soon as I... It's like, yeah, it's gigantic. Oh yeah, this exit here, yeah, you can go up to Laingsburg, Michigan. But yeah, there was no way I was going to be able to finish the burrito. I don't think the video is going to be up just yet, but definitely be on the lookout for a restaurant tour of restaurants in Northwest Wayne County, Michigan. That may not be the actual title, but close enough. So I'll be showing that burrito in the video, and who knows, I might even have an Instagram reel on the restaurant up by now. So if it is, yeah, definitely check out my Instagram. Because on my Instagram, that's where I post all my photos and also all my short form content, or basically like all the Instagram reels. Where right now even though I'm doing myself like a 30-day challenge where I'm uploading a reel daily. But once that's over, I'm probably gonna do like just 5 days a week or something. And we're now entering Clinton County, which is one of the 3 counties for the Lansing area. And I think they need to do some road work on this, because this lane is pretty good, but the left lane is pretty bad. Well, it looks a little better. Well, almost. Who knows, maybe they're going to be doing additional road work later this year. It's hard to say, though. So, but anyways, I'm trying to average, maybe try to get 5 reels. With the exception for like a 30-day period, I'm going to try to do like 5 reels a week or something like that. Because I'll upload like shorter form videos on there, where of course here on YouTube we have the more lengthy videos. So I did that, and before that I did a driving video on 6 Mile or McNichols Road, like a part 1, where I filmed where it almost begins over by Coleman Young Airport going all the way to like Telegraph Road. I need to do the second part pretty soon. Oh, really quick, and yeah, this exit here, this is for business I-69. If you're trying to go over to either to Haslett or Okemos or to East Lansing, you're going to want to get off here. So again, so yeah, for East Lansing, so if you're going to Michigan State University and you're coming from the east, that is your exit back there. Okay, and then also, and to start my day, I had to get my oil change in this car, because I haven't had an oil change in this car since I was in Houston. So it had been about almost 4 months. Because yeah, for this Honda Civic, I usually try to average between 7,500 and 8,000 miles in between oil changes. I've heard different things online, whether you should get it sooner or later, or if it's just right. But with a lot of the newer vehicles, you can usually get away with waiting a while before getting one. It's where you don't have to go like every 3,000 miles or something. For the driving I do, like you've seen my driving videos, it's like for all the driving I do, if I had to get an oil change every 3 months, I mean every 3,000 miles, in some cases I'd be getting an oil change every several weeks. Lakes out in this area too. Well, that's a small one off to the right, but about maybe a third of a mile, you got Park Lake. And then further south of here, you got Lake Lansing, which is that exit back, not this one here, for Bath, Michigan. But that other exit that I was talking about, that which goes to East Lansing, Haslett, and Okemos, that's your exit if you're going, also if you want to go to, like, to the park over at Lake Lansing. Yeah, just think I was just back in the Lansing area, general Lansing area a month ago, or not a month ago, a week ago, real time, because I went out to Grand Ledge, Michigan. Beautiful little city too, because I really enjoyed checking out the rock ledges over there. So yeah, because I filmed the driving video already today, my battery is starting to get low, but I have enough battery for this, in order for me to finish this I-69 video. So we'll be in good shape. So about another mile, approximately, we'll be coming up to the interchange with 127. Which, yeah, 127, it's not an interstate, but it's mostly a freeway. There's like a 10 to 12 mile or so stretch that is not a freeway north of St. John's, but other than that, it's another way you can get up to northern Michigan, especially if you're coming from, like, the Lansing area or coming across from Grand Rapids, then to head north. So the exit for 127 is right here. If you take the first exit to go north at 127, you'll head up to St. John's, Michigan, eventually up toward Alma, Ithaca, Mount Pleasant, Clare, and eventually heads up toward Houghton Lake before ending at I-75 just south of Grayling. And then if you go south on 127, you'll head into the eastern part of Lansing, like right in between Lansing and East Lansing. If you're going to downtown Lansing, you'll want to get onto 127 south and then take the exit for I-496 west. With I-69, we pretty much stay away from downtown Lansing. Heck, even I-96 does the same thing too. And this exit coming up here about 3/4 of a mile is for old US 27, which before the freeway was built back there, this was the old route to go north up toward, like, Mount Pleasant and Clare. There's a little interesting fact is that US Highway 127 only went up to I-69. It never continued further north. Because back then, like over 20, 25 years ago, or until then, US 27 continued up from Fort Wayne, Indiana into Michigan, and then it continued north from this interchange here, and it went all the way up to I-75 south of Grayling. But they decided to stop US 27 to only go up to Fort Wayne, and then instead, because of the freeway extension or the bypass around St. John's, they decided to just change 27 to 127 instead, going north out of the Lansing area. for I-96. 27 miles, I thought, or 26 miles, and 26 miles until Charlotte, Michigan, and 135 miles until Fort Wayne, Indiana. This section here is DeWitt Road. That'll take up to DeWitt, Michigan, which is one of the, I'd say, like the northernmost suburb of Lansing. And I remember going to DeWitt, Michigan, I think a couple years ago or something. It's a nice little community. For what I saw on MDOT's website, which is short for the Michigan Department of Transportation, I think they are supposed to be resuming road work on I-69, approaching the I-96 interchange, the first one, but they're going to be starting that up in a matter of just days from now, so I'm kind of glad I'm filming this today. So this exit here, this is the exit you'll want to take if you're going to the international airport for Lansing. Because Lansing's airport is off to the northwest of downtown Lansing, and this is probably your best way over to the airport. Because all you do is just get off at this exit here and make a left turn and head south down Airport Road. And it'll take you to the western edge of the airport. So just follow the signs and it'll take you to exactly where you need to go. It's kind of like the Flint airport, where it's just a smaller airport, but it serves some flights, although I think maybe, I could be wrong about this, but I think less flights than even the airport in Flint. Another 2 miles from now, we'll be approaching the exit for I-96 West. We will not be concluding the video at this first interchange. We're going to conclude things at the second interchange for I-96 East. Really nice. So I don't know. So for the last part, I would say after about another mile from now, we're going to be running concurrent with I-96. So coming up here for the exit for I-96 West, that takes you out to the western part, the western half of the state, going toward Ionia and then eventually to the Grand Rapids area before ending up in Muskegon. So if you're coming from Flint or Port Huron or from the east part of the state, like especially like even if you're coming like from Saginaw or Frankenmuth, you're on I-69. If you're going to Grand Rapids, you're going to want to get off here and follow the signs for I-96 West Grand Rapids. Because I-69 going this way, this is going to start making a turn to the south, and it's going to run concurrent with I-96 East. So this is a pretty cool spot coming up for I-69 because, so another thing about the interstate system is that typically all your odd numbered interstates typically run north and south, where your even number interstates run east and west. But between here and Port Huron, I-69 is considered a west and, or an east and west freeway. But starting right around here, this is where I-69 now becomes north and south, which remains that way for the most part for the rest of the freeway, although I think there could be some spots in Kentucky where they could have it truncated as east and west, but I'm not sure about that. But this is where I-69 west becomes I-69 south. I-96. So for the remainder of this video, we will be running concurrent with I-96 East. So this stretch can get a little busy just because this is I-69 and I-96. In the western parts of Lansing. So this exit coming up here in about 3/4 of a mile is for M43, which M43 goes west to Grand Ledge, which I was just talking about that because I was there this time a week ago, real time. And then M43 continues its way west toward Hastings, and then it starts making its way heading south, kind of down toward the Kalamazoo area. And then M43 east for the second exit will take you into downtown Lansing. And then it continues into East Lansing, going right by the campus of Michigan State University, and then continues further to the east toward like Williamston and Weberville. Although I think just west of Weberville, though. And back here at the exit for M43, you got a lot of retail in there too. And this interchange coming up here, this is the interchange for I-496. So if you're going into downtown Lansing, you'll want to get off at 496 and then just follow the signs to get to points of interest in the state capitol, including the state capitol itself. So we'll be getting close to the conclusion to this video because we got 1 3/4 miles until we're I-96 and I-69 branch off from one another. But yeah, we've come a long way in this video. So if we were to continue south on I-69, that'll take us down first to Charlotte, Michigan, and then continues down to Marshall, and then getting down toward Coldwater, Michigan, and then it crosses over into Indiana to continue your way down to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then eventually down to Indianapolis. Or we take the left fork and you go on I-96 east and head back toward the Metro Detroit area. So yeah, you want to be in the right lane if you want to continue I-90 or I-69 south. All right, so I'm going to start concluding things here. I hope you enjoyed this video here on I-69 west and technically south now, going from I-75 near Flint all the way to I-69 or I-96 east to the southwest of Lansing. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button. don't forget to click that subscribe button so that we don't miss out any future adventures. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott with the Scottman signing out here from southwest of Lansing here in Delta Township, Michigan.